First order of business is to approve the minutes from May 25th, 2022, the MPO policy board meeting.
So moved.
Motion, have a second?
Second.
Have motion and second. Any discussion? All in favor? Motion approved. And I apologize. We have well, I'm trying to think. We have a new Allen. I'm going to probably know Mr. He has, I asked him to congratulate him or give him my sympathy. I didn't know which one it was. What did you say? You didn't know it? But anyway, we appreciate him being here. Glad to be working with you. A lot of things we already do. Any comments you want to make? Or wait till the end.
I'm glad to be here.
All right. Item number 3. Open public comment for the final FY 2023 Unified Work Plan Program. Do we have to close that? Or? Yeah. So the motion to close the public hearing. So your motion to close the public hearing. Second. All in favor of closing the public hearing? Motion carried. Item number 4, adopt resolution 2223 to approve the FY 2023 final Unified Planning Work Program.
As you know, the Unified Planning Work Program, we approved the draft back in May. This is the work task and the budget for MPO for FY 2023. ALDOT, Metropolitan Planning, they not only did have a few comments, we corrected 10 comments. The final document is up for approval today. One thing that's in that document this year that hasn't been in the past is there's a task in the back that we're going to do a study with PO that was available to carry over PO fund for an interchange study at Beverly Road and Interstate 65. That study's $100,000 and it's 80,000 of it will be paid for by the MPO, 20,000 of it will be paid for by the City of Hartsville, Morgan County Commission, and the City of Price. They're splitting $20,000. There was interest in this and has been interest in this in the past to try to do this. And what we're trying to do is we're going to do a high level assessment of whether that interchange could work there if it takes traffic on State Route 67 and downtown Hartsville. And we're also going to look at connectivity to that interchange, which could be another route over to US Highway 31. As I said, this is a high level study. To do a full interchange justification study, that takes a lot of money and a lot more effort. But if we find out that this interchange is viable and it does solve some issues and helps, then we can take it to the next phase of the full interchange justification study. So as I said, this is carryover MPO money that we can use to do this. It's just we have to have a match, and City of Hartsville, Morgan County, and the City of Princeville is providing that match for we can do that study for this.
So we can vote for Sam to do all of it since he's not here. We can we'll vote to let Sam do all of it since he's not here.
Let who did it? Oh, Sam. Yeah, I'm good with that too.
I forget where I'm.
I agree with you. He's not here. Let him vote.
All right, do we have a motion to approve the 2023 final Unified Planning Work Program? A motion, have a second?
Second.
Motion second, any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. I always forget the opposed.
Okay.
I don't know who. All right, item number 5. Adopt resolution 2224 to amend the FY 2020-2023 transportation improvement program to increase the construction cost on the following project. Reconstruction of County Road 684 Church Street from Summer Road to Riverview Avenue in the city of Decatur.
Notice on the agenda was it says state cost, that should be the city of Decatur, but on the resolution, it is correct for the city of Decatur paying the match. These projects, you notice, since a lot of y'all's been on MPO for a while, they'll come in and there'll be a new cost estimate of the project. That's what's happened here. The cost estimates actually went up about $537,000. In the agreements, when the sponsor signs the agreements, in this case, being the city, it states in the agreements that if the MPO approves it, you can bring a cost estimate back to the MPO. The MPO can pay 80% of it, the city will pay 20%. That's what we're doing here. Basically, the MPO will pay $430,000, and the state will pay the additional $107,000. Now, these are estimates. Doesn't mean that they're hard numbers. That's what's going into the deal. It could be less than that. It could be more than that. But whenever this project bids, we'll get a hard number. If it goes up more than that, we'll have to come back to the MPO to address that at that time. If it goes down, we'll have to do the same thing. We'll have to come back to address it at that time, whatever it is. These are just best guess estimates from Aldott on the way materials and labor is at this point in time. So that's kind of the explanation of what we're doing. Anybody have any questions?
So moved.
Have a motion, have a second? Have a second, any discussion? All in favor of approving this resolution? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 6, adopt resolution 2225 to amend the FY 2023 tip to add the following projects. Section 5307, Transit CARES Act, North Central Alabama Regional Council of Governments, capital rolling stock to purchase 2 minivans for fiscal year 2022.
As stated, this is section 5307, transit funds. It come out of the CARES Act, which the CARES Act was approved a few years ago. 100% funded for the transit agency on this, purchased 2 minivans. So the council of governments actually runs a transit program. So this, basically what this body's doing is putting that project into the tip of their budget or anything. Well, their budget and everything actually comes through here for the put a tip each year. So, but the administration and operating and all purchasing that responsibility for transit agency. So this body's actually putting it in the tip. But this is 100% money, and probably that money's gonna run out for long. I wouldn't think it'd be too many more projects to where they have 100% money, but that's what this is for 5307 program.
Got a motion to approve?
So moved.
Got a motion to approve? Second. A motion approved and second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, adopt resolution 2226 to amend the FY 2020-2023 Transportation Improvement Program to add funding to the following project. Section 5339, Transit North Central Alabama Regional Council of Governments, capital rolling stock, 2 minivans, fiscal year 2022.
This is, of course, section 5339, transit program to buy 2 new minivans. This program requires a match, and our company's paying that match. It comes out to the same amount, total amount as the other one, $122,844. Some of these transit programs, you'll see, some of them may be 50% match, some of them may be 20% match. Different ones have different matches on them. So, but this is for fiscal year 2022, and best explanation I can give is why it's 2022 and not 2023 is the transit is run out of a different department down in Aldott. Usually they get the stuff in here, and 2022 is almost over. So this money's probably already been spent, but it's got to be put in the system. So they're always a little late for some reason, getting the stuff put in the documents. But
I make a motion.
I'm sorry. Got behind. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 8, adopt resolution 2227 to amend the FY 2020-2023 Transportation Improvement Program to add funding to the following project. Add lanes on County Road 43 or Spring Avenue from Day Road to Cedar Lake Road south of State Road 67, and this is a preliminary engineering closeout.
Looking around, I don't think anybody in this room was here except me whenever this was going on, this preliminary engineering, but it's been a while.
Some people are worth a lot.
But Aldott closes these projects out, and sometimes it takes a while for them to close out. The city got the notification that, this project was closing out, and the total amount was $52,925.18. In the agreement, this was an MPO project, so the city can come back for this 8% funds and then back to 20%, and that's what we're doing here. This is one phase of the Spring Avenue project. The other phases would be right-of-way, utilities, and construction. When we got this, or the city got this, I checked to see if the other ones could be closed down. They're not ready to be closed down yet. Right-of-way is probably going to be close right on budget with it. Utilities and construction have no idea. So them will be closed out one day. I don't want to send a letter asking them to close out, because the last time we did that, we had 4 or 5 that was closed out. I think you was here then. We've got some pretty hefty bills.
Yeah.
So whenever the construction closes out on this, it's gonna be a good bit. So MPO, I always save money back for that day, but that day is not here yet on the construction. This is just a fee. So, which fee is not bad. We just, it's over $152,000. That's really not that bad in the scheme of things. So that's what this is. So the city would be responsible for $10,585.
We have a motion. We have a second to the motion. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 9, adopt resolution 2228 approving the FTA Transit State of Good Repair performance measures.
These next two resolutions are dealing with performance measures. That was included in the Fast Act legislation, and now is included in the Infrastructure Jobs Act legislation, which is a new transportation bill. The state has to abide by certain performance measures, PM1, PM2, PM3, and transit measures. Back when we first started the MPO agreement, we did a resolution to do whatever the state, whatever their numbers was, is what we would adopt, instead of trying to come up with numbers on our own. A lot of this stuff has to do with payment, it has to do with safety. And the MPO doesn't have the numbers to do that, so it's best to rely on the state. States hit their marks on all of the performance measures in the last 3 or 4 years, but we had to approve them usually every year. The transit every year, and we approved some of the transit at the last meeting, but they didn't have the state of good repair ready for us to do. But basically, the transit state of good repair are the same numbers that's been in there for the last 3 or 4 years, and they're meeting all of it goes. So they're meeting it throughout the state. So, which is a good thing, because if you don't meet the goals on the performance measures, you stand a chance of losing money. So them goals are being met on both of these. The state of good repair and the next one, and I think
We have a motion to approve. Motion, we have a second. Motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item 10, adopt resolution 2229 approving the Alabama statewide performance measure targets for system performance measures for second performance period 2022 to 2025 as of July 15, 2022.
Right, this was PM3s. We actually have the MPO has 180 days from that July 15th date to approve these. But we'll just go ahead and take it up now. This is basically it's a 4-year program, so we won't have to do it again for 4 years. The state has a consultant on board that actually helps with computing these numbers, and they have done that. I know we've had meetings with them before, and they've done a really good job about all of this data, because there's tons of data that goes into this. But basically, the PM3 is looking at reliability on the interstates and secondary roads and how the roads are doing. And they put a percentage on them, like 90%, or they 92% proficient, 90% proficient, to make sure that they're meeting the goals. To move with be eligible for federal funding. If you look at the bottom on the emission side, you will notice that applies to Farmington. It applied to us at one time many years ago, because we was looking at ozone problems and PM2.5 problems also. We're not there yet, which I hope we don't go back down that road with the ozone issues, because you have to do a lot of different stuff, air quality issues. But we're not there. Our numbers are good on that for the foreseeable future. So we're good on that portion of it.
All right. We have a motion to approve resolution 2229.
So moved.
Second. Second. A motion second. Any discussion? All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11 is new business. No new business. All right. You or anyone else from out that like to speak? Updates or anything?
Sure. Just to go over our project update list. On our MPO jobs, we've got the Church Street project indicator that Wayne was mentioning. It's set for the September letting. It's in Austin here right now. The kicker with that one is that it's got a 20-inch ductile iron water line that's underneath the road. It's going to have to be lowered before they do the road work, and that's in the roadway contract. And so therefore there's been, some of our recent jobs with similar ductile iron utilities, there's been a big procurement delay with those. Yeah, several months. So
Is this Somerville by chance?
this is the one on the Church Street project. Yeah, near Somerville. Yeah, we're near Somerville. And so, it may let in September, but it may be, several months before you actually see dirt turning out there, the utility work. And then they'll go back. Once they lower that utility, they'll repave the road. We've got the Vaughn Bridge Road, 31 intersection there in Hartselle. Our plans are pretty far along, about 90%. Our right of way has been authorized. I think you guys are purchasing 3 tracks. Yeah. And that one's scheduled for letting in next year. We've got in Morgan County, the West Morgan Road over Baker's Creek project. They got the plans up to the point where they could authorize the right of way, and they're buying right of way on that one. We got about 5 tracks in Morgan County. Now it's scheduled next year. We've got the Lando Kane Road job in Hartselle. They just sort of started as preliminary. And that one, it's on the letting schedule for next year. So I don't know how that will progress, but we'll see. And then we've got the Priceville's got 3 resurfacing projects: Cave Springs Road, Bethel Road, and Skidmore Road, that are all in the preliminary stages on that one. They're sitting next year as well. For A trip two jobs, we've got the US 31 there in Hartselle with a medium access management in the median and also the lighting on the outside. That one actually lets into this month, and it's being advertised in Austin here right now. So hopefully that'll go well with some good bids on that one. Sidewalk tap jobs. We got Hartselle downtown streetscape job that Garver's working on. It should be pretty close for them to take it to the local way. In Decatur, we've also got a tap job on the 6th Street project. It's tied in with that bigger overall project on 6th Street. I think Doug and those guys are working up on that.
Yes, sir.
We've got a railroad crossing improvement project in Hartselle on Tabernacle Road. And it's actually been authorized and we're ready to go. We're just waiting on the railroad. I think they've got a backlog like everybody else. They said they'd be out there hopefully in November to start putting up the gates and the lights at Tabernacle Road. Moving on to our state system, we've got the I-65 bridge maintenance project over the Tennessee River, and we are getting the inspector's reports back of the work that's needed on that, and we're still waiting to figure out what's needed on the deck. Deck repairs is really that a lot of the underneath stuff they can get underneath and do it, but the deck repairs, that's going to involve lane closures, traffic control. So we're really interested to see what that's going to come back and show.
Is there a time frame on that yet?
It's currently sitting in like a next summer, fall, like letting period. But like I said, we still really don't know the extent of. I mean, those are 2 mile long bridges. So is it just going to be a spot here and there, or is it going to be a huge portion of that bridge deck's going to have? That's going to be pretty major. We'll know more about that as we go along. And we've got a US 31 bridge replacement there in Tanner near about before you get to Calhoun over the Norfolk Southern Railroad tracks. Those bridges are getting pretty old. So we've got a replacement job on that one coming up next year. We've got the I-65 bridge replacement at Lakon, where those curves are, those narrow bridges there in Lakon. But those are just starting. We're just kicking off design with that one. It's sitting in 2025. Now, I went and asked some of our construction guys about some of the ones we got currently. They said that State Route 36 out near Somerville at Gum Springs, they finished all the bridge and culvert work. Now they're just doing the final paving on it. So hopefully within a month or so, we'll be able to open that back up to traffic on State Route 36. And the Beltline job, it just struck the other day. They've got the signs up. I think they said the contractor mobilized and should get out there maybe next week. Yeah. They had a big, once again, a procurement delay with the signal equipment on that one. And, we didn't want to go up there and just screw up the belt line for a couple weeks just to stop and wait on signals. So they just pushed the whole thing out. But now they've got all their equipment in and they're ready to go. Hopefully it'll go somewhat smoothly. And we've got a US 31 on the Red Bank Road intersection there, sort of south of Decatur. That one's maybe about 25% complete. And Rogers Group doing that one. I think they'll plan to wrap up in November, hopefully in the fall, later in the fall. We got resurfacing on US 31 in Calhoun, going up to Browns Ferry there in Monsoon County, and that's about 30%. I think that's about all we got active right now.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Thank you, sir.
Who will manage church service?
Steve, with the consultant, Garver's the consultant that's working on it.
there's like a little water meter that rises up right there in that curving. And we need to get cars to come through there and catch side of their tires. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and that roadway's in bad shape right now.
Is that what that, you think that road will hang in the beach, stop on?
Yeah, I don't know where the double line runs through.
It's on the, I was looking at the plans the other day, it's on the north side, there's the line, you know, the water line's on sort of on the north side of the road.
It's just something we try to get back in the island somehow, so.
Good.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, I got a couple of things. One, in FY 23, the TIP actually used the old, and we have started new. We got a lot of MPO projects that are actually what I call stacking. We got the priceless, we got a couple here, and we got the church. As them get complete, we need to look at adding some, maybe 24, 25. We got, they're covered 23, 24, 25, 26. You look at some projects, look at some research centers, intersection projects, $500,000, $700,000 each for match. And I know all of these got some. We don't want to overextend ourselves. There's some other MPOs that's put a lot of projects in that, you know, which we'll talk about, but if they could do it, they start having to move them back. We only get about 1.7 million a year. It went up just a little bit with the new bill. But these intersection projects are getting more costly. When you put some of them in at $700,000-800,000, now they're $1.5 million to $2 million. So we kind of need to add, you know, smaller intersection projects. You get into right-of-way acquisition, that's when it starts costing a whole lot of money. But resurfacing or intersection projects, we don't get enough money to buy any of those. I mean, we found that out. Well, we just took care of a PE on one of them that we applied. It takes a lot of money to find the project. And especially when you use the federal funds, if you have to go with the federal guidelines. But just kind of think of that, think of some projects. I'll be talking to y'all individually, the way I usually do. I usually go around and ask, hey, what kind of projects do we have? What would you like to see? But once we identify the projects, we need good engineering. We don't just need to throw a number at it because it gets us in trouble. Because we come back and we find out it's $400,000 or $500,000 more than what number we threw at it. So we need to make good engineering numbers. Other thing is the city applied for a ARC grant for a bridge study. And the city's going to match that grant if we get it. Hopefully it'll be awarded before too long. And we can start looking at a bridge study, hopefully in the next fiscal year to identify river crossing, across the river. I was hoping we'd have an announcement before long, but I don't know. So, but it's a ARC grant, so it's an APP on that grant. So we'll just kind of see where we stand on that. One other thing too is in the transportation world, I don't know if y'all noticed or not, but last couple of transportation bills, one, the FAST Act, now this one, there's all kinds of monies in them grants, but well, money's in there, but they're mostly grants. And I know y'all get a lot of grants coming by y'all's desk every day. We try to stay on top of them grants and what they are, and what they mean. We're thinking about doing a kind of a short hour-long informational type thing to tell you what the grants are and how you can apply for them and what qualify. But all them grants, you have to do a study before you can even apply for the money to try to get it. But I'd kind of like to do that sometime in September if y'all would like on that information. Because there's a lot of them out there and, it's kind of hard to keep up with because, we used to go and ask for earmarks, well, that kind of ended. And then, the state used to get a lot, well, they could put it on projects, but now it's mainly grants. You got the raise grants, you got A-Trail, you got bridge grants, you got railroad grants, you got reconnected community grants, and all of them means different things, and there's different thoughts on it. So, we would kind of like to do that, and hopefully that will help to identify some projects that are out there, and what projects we can actually go to. If that's what y'all would like for me to do.
Yes.
I'll try to set that up sometime in September, and, we can just meet in here, and I'll just do a PowerPoint, we just go through it. And, because there's a lot of them out there, and I mean, you're talking about stacks of paperwork like that on different grants, but you gotta prepare for them before you can apply. So,
Thank you.
Anybody else have anything? Don't look to adjourn.
Take a motion to adjourn.
That's gonna close that. Thank you all.
all right. Everybody thanks Sam for coming.